I'm fucking back. Oh. Wow. I keep forgetting that this room's closer to the bathroom than the other room. Sorry. I should have muted the mic. I just keep fucking forgetting that it's much closer. You're welcome for the tinkle ASMR, though. Damn, boy, you frying the chicken in there. What the fuck? I've never heard that expression for pissing. You frying chicken in there. Yeah, amen, brother. I was putting her in the deep fat fryer.
Craigslist, a website dedicated to advertisements with sections devoted to jobs, housing, items for sale, services, and discussion forums. The website was created by Craig Newmark in 1995.
Holy shit, wait, that's the Craig? That's Mr. List himself? I've never looked up the history of Craigslist. I thought it was just like a random name they pulled out, because Craig is super standard, like very generic NPC kind of shit. Like MySpace Tom.
As an email distribution list to friends that featured local events in the San
Tier
Francisco
1
Bay
Kenny,
Area.
and then
It
he
became
said
a
Payton and
web-based
Bubble.
service in 1996 and expanded into other classified categories. As the years went on, it became the Craigslist we know today. Now, I know the popularity of Craigslist has gone down since its peak in the 2010s, but you'd be surprised to know that in 2018,
I didn't know that.
the website had at least 60 million monthly users in the US alone. So with all these people interacting on the site, it's no doubt that some horrible ones slipped through the cracks. Welcome to the dangerous world of Craigslist criminals. Speaking of my second channel, Critical knows who I am. Isn't that so cool? Like,
Oh, that's
Critical,
so cute.
he reacted to the Darkest TikTok Iceberg Part 1. Right now, actually,
Well,
he's streaming right now, but I don't know
Oh.
when he's going to watch it, but he's going to watch the Darkest TikTok.
I forgot we went back
Those
in
videos
time.
have my reactions to his reactions to my
This
video.
is so fucking
Pretty
cute.
Inception, Philip Markoff.
What?
Philip Markoff.
Wait, what is that? Wasn't there a guy who put his nudes in a desk he sold on Craigslist? That's fucking big brain. I mean, maybe, probably, I guess. I don't know if he did it on purpose, man. He was just selling his desk and probably just forgot about his dick pics, man. Was that like a big story or something? I could absolutely imagine that happening. It shit probably happens at garage sales all the time.
Markoff, in 2009, was a 23-year-old med student at Boston University. He had a fiance and seemed to be an average-looking dude. Though if we know anything about murderers, it's that they look average. He was a big 6'3" white male that was
Sometimes
known by
they
his
look
friends
exactly
for being a
like what
goofy,
you'd think
smart
they would.
guy. Not only was he goofy, but he was incredibly smart when it came to schooling, as he was in the National Honor Society. Though he wasn't as smart when it came to hiding evidence. Let me explain.
So in the National Honor Society?
The erotic services
saying.
section set up dates with
But I
girls
don't really
who were
use Craigslist.
advertising themselves in the Boston area, escorts, and robbed them at gunpoint. Though one sadly ended up being killed. Here are their stories. April 10th, 2009. Trisha Leffler, age 29, his first victim, was a prostitute that would travel to different locations and stay in hotels in wealthy cities. He called and they set up a date to meet up and a place. They planned to meet up at the hotel she was staying at, which
There's a
was
Prime
Westin
Silver,
Copley
recent
Place.
Cairo.
Once he entered, he pointed a pistol at her, handcuffed her with zip ties, and robbed her. Keep in mind, this dumbass wasn't wearing a mask. Not only that, but he was wearing black gloves to cover his fingerprints, but was persistent on removing his phone number from Trisha's phone, and I guess the gloves are too thick so he couldn't really type, so he removed the gloves to type, and the fingerprints were on the phone. It's like, you dumb mother... He then tied her to the doorknob from the inside, taped her mouth shut
What a
while
strat.
leaving fingerprints on the roll of tape. He also took a knife out of his pocket and cut the hotel phone lines. He stole $800 in cash and her credit cards. He also picked up some of her underwear that was on the floor, put it in his pocket, and left. 4 days later,
Oh, a little car
April 14th,
freshener.
2009,
Huffing the
Julissa Brisman,
fumes.
age 25, became Markoff's second victim. She was an aspiring model from New York City and was described as an extremely happy party girl who liked having fun. Just like Trisha, she also advertised herself in the erotic services section on Craigslist, though Julissa was offering massage services for extra money. Extra money due to it being extremely hard to make money as a beginning model, actress, or just being in that entertainment business. Her family and detectives say she wasn't a prostitute. She was genuinely giving amateur massages. She was staying at the Copley Marriott Hotel in Boston, Massachusetts, and eventually Philip arrives at her hotel room. The story I'm about to tell you is from police, because sadly there's no one to tell the story how it actually happened. Police believe that he immediately pulled the gun on her once he entered the room, got at least one plastic tie on her wrist, she fought back, and things escalated quickly. He pistol whipped her on the head and then shot her 4 times. Police say he didn't have to kill her. She had no weapons and he was a way bigger person. And when he fled the scene, her body leaned against the main hotel door and half of her dead body could be seen by anyone in the hallways. A woman that was staying next door said she heard a commotion down the hall. Eventually, she peeked her head out the door and saw a woman who who was half in and half out of the doorway. She immediately called security, and the security called the police. So keep in mind, Trisha's robbery happened in April 10th, 2009, and then this murder happened April 14th, 2009, so just 4 days later. And now, 2 days after that, April 16th, 2009. 2 days after the murder of Julissa Brisman, Cynthia Melton was Markoff's third and final victim. Cynthia was an exotic dancer at the time and was also advertising herself on Craigslist, saying she'll give private lap dances for $200 to anyone in her hotel room. She explained that unlike the other cases, Philip was nervous, and when he pointed the pistol at her, his hand was shaking. He said, "I'm broke. I don't want to kill you. I just want cards or money." So he zip-tied her down while he searched her room. Her phone rang, but he ignored it. Then it rang again and again. The calls were coming from her business manager and husband. Her husband was aware that she provided these services and was okay with it, and was most likely playing the role of a pimp, someone that just makes sure that the girls are okay and they don't get scammed.
That sounds like Craigslist.
Well, that's why the pimp is there, right? He gonna pull up. She was supposed to give her business manager a signal to show that she was safe. When he didn't get the signal, he began calling her nonstop. Suddenly, Cynthia's husband opens the room door because he had an extra key, and Philip instantly points the gun at him. The husband starts running down the hall, presumably to get help, and Philip begins escaping down the other side of the same hallway. So in that situation, no one died, but the only girl that did die was Julia Brisman. So rest in peace to her. I mean, it's obvious that this dude was only going on Craigslist to find vulnerable girls. Getting caught. One of Julissa's friends found the emails that Philip and Julissa had exchanged and contacted authorities, explained that she had his IP address. Detectives traced the IP to an apartment belonging to Philip Markoff, a 23-year-old med student at Boston University. He had a fiance at the time who knew nothing about what he was up to on Craigslist. He was arrested shortly after. During trial, he pleaded not guilty, which was dumb because detectives found the gun he used to murder Julissa in his room with his fingerprints on it. His trial was
circumstantial
and in the
evidence.
was in prison. Markoff made several suicide attempts while at the Nashua Street jail. One attempt was made 3 days after his arrest, an additional attempt after his fiance broke up with him, and another attempt on the day his wedding was to have taken place. At various times, he was on watch or in the jail psychiatric unit. On August 15th, 2010, 1 year and 1 day after his wedding would have taken place, Markoff was found dead in his cell. He had used a knife made from a pen and a piece of metal to cut arteries in his ankles, legs, and neck. He had also swallowed toilet paper and tied in a plastic bag over his head with gauze. Additionally,
this dude
he had
did
written
8 different
his former
suicides.
name and their pet names for each other in, and photographs of them two were scattered about. So yeah, sadly, Julissa did die, and the other girls did have a traumatic experience. This dude killed himself in the jail, which would have been a happy ending, but sadly he had to kill a girl, right? Let's move on to the next one.
God damn. So that's like 8 different ways of killing himself. My God, he used every ounce of that med student knowledge. Jesus. I imagine this had to be during like the height of Craigslist. I remember back in, God, it must have been high school. When was the big Craigslist killer that got a lot of press? I think it was high school for me. And when that happened, everyone was like, yeah, it sounds about right for Craigslist. God, that's gotta be the riskiest shit ever. Why? Bro, just fucking like pass out flyers at a gas station or something. You're a lot better off. Because even in high school, all of us were like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what you'd expect from Craigslist services. Just a bunch of fucking psychopaths. I don't know why you would trust that. It's terrible. It's scary. I use it for cars. Well, yeah, you can buy shit from Craigslist, man. I don't think you're gonna run into a guy who's gonna, like, fuck your shit up over a beat-up bug or anything. Like, you could probably buy cars if you want. I'm talking about the services category. Naivety, mostly? I don't know, though. I don't know about that. I think it's probably just convenience, mostly. Because it's a lot less work to just put up an ad like, I'll touch your butt for $200 on Craigslist. It's a lot less work to do that as opposed to like marketing that somewhere else. You just leave that shit stand up there forever. And then eventually someone reaches out, but you don't want that person. It's very scary. Like, I can't imagine this shit is uncommon. It's just sometimes they don't get as much press as others.
Anne-Marie Linscott. In November 2007,
why does that name
3
sound so
California
familiar?
residents were searching Craigslist for job opportunities, and they exchanged emails with a woman named Anne-Marie Linscott regarding a job opportunity she was advertising on the website. The job description was advertised as quote-unquote freelance, with no further information provided. During the email exchange, Linscott, who was a Michigan resident, asked each of the 3 individuals responding to her advertisement to quote-unquote eradicate a woman living in Oroville, California.
What the
yes,
fuck?
she put up a hitman ad on Craigslist. She provided
What a
additional information on
big
the intended
word for
victim
that,
to include a
eradicate.
description of the victim,
That's not just
her
like
age,
kill
and her
or
employment address. Linska
beat.
offered a hefty payment
That's
upon completion
big.
of the quote-unquote eradication task. The 3 individuals reported that to the police, as any other normal human being would do, but why? Why did Anne-Marie Linska want someone eradicated, aka killed, in California when she lives in Michigan? Well, that random woman that she wanted dead wasn't actually so random. Anne-Marie began a secret relationship with a man from California while she lived in Michigan in 2004. Both were married and in their 40s, but Linska had children. As the time went on, they booked flights and visited each other, of course keeping it as secretive as possible. In 2007, it was clear that Linska wanted to fully commit to the relationship and began saying very creepy and stalkery things, like saying she was going to move to California to be close to the Oroville man. In April of 2007, things began getting extremely scary. A Molotov cocktail with a fuse was found under the bed of the man's wife, named Carol. Thankfully, it didn't go off. Then the Craigslist ad we were talking about was made.
A Molotov cocktail time bomb?
Assassins to eradicate a 56-year-old woman from Oroville named Carol. The price? $5,000. She made sure to emphasize that this was a very serious job and not fake. She also explained how the amateur hitman would have all their expenses paid on top of the $5,000. Her only fear was having the murder traced back to her. Well, you should have thought about that before trying to hire a hitman on an extremely popular public website. Anne-Marie, you should watch these videos right here in case you really want to hire a hitman. I made videos talking about it. That was a joke.
True, he does give
You
like
also go watch
tutorials,
those
I guess.
videos, and also watch The Dangerous World of 4chan Criminals. So those 3 people that engaged in the
As you
ad
said,
called the
Pika
authorities, and
and
then the
Kopi?
authorities got the FBI involved. They confronted her with copies of the details of the hitman ad, and when asked about what she meant by the word eradicate, she said, and I quote, duh, well, to have her killed. Looks like she's a very smart criminal. Very smart. In 2009, Anne-Marie Linska was sentenced to 151 months in prison, aka 12 and a half years. That means she was released last year in 2021.
What is she doing now, I wonder if she's out? Let me check.
Jason Brown.
Let's take a peek. Anne-Marie Linscott. Maybe she's like a streamer or something. Alright, what are we looking at? I'm guessing this is her, just now working at a normal place. Damn. Underwhelming. Kind of anticlimactic. Probably too old to be public. What do you mean? The stories are still public. In 2009, all those articles and everything still exist. What do you mean? She makes NFTs now. Wouldn't be surprised. She does seem to have a pretty good grip on technology.
Brown. Jason Brown was a 25-year-old man in 2014
There's
and
the
would
prime.
find thrill out of adopting
Mr.
dogs that were
and they
looking
give
for
some
homes
Hunter.
and torturing them until death. I won't be getting into details on how
Jesus
exactly
Christ.
he tortured these dogs. This story is a lot like the Omegle cat killer, which we've talked about before. So how was James Brown caught? He was staying at a motel and a maid had knocked on the door to check on him days later, but no one answered. She then unlocked the door to clean the room and found bloodstains, dog limbs, drug paraphernalia. She then called the manager, who found a decapitated brown
Thanks, you
dog
said
in the
Cole.
bathtub, and called Reno police. While the manager waited for the police to arrive, Brown had returned to the room and fled. Not only did he kill innocent dogs that were just looking for a home on Craigslist, but he recorded everything. The recordings were only seen by the judge, the lawyers, and a detective. But in the video, Brown could be heard saying that this was his house of pain, and he wanted to turn them into a fur coat. Brown is heard saying in one of the recordings that he found dogs through Craigslist and looked for, quote, pets free on the ads.
Aw.
So he would just go on the search term, just free pets, right? People that had responded to Brown's request through Craigslist
God, that's so
testified that
fucked.
he seemed like a normal guy. They were seen sobbing in the courtroom. He claimed that he couldn't remember committing the acts because he was injecting heroin, methamphetamine, and cocaine during more than a 2-month-long binge. The recordings were taken by Brown as well as
Oh,
two
then
friends
he can't
who-
be held accountable.
Jason Brown was sentenced to 28 years in prison.
Hey,
And
fuck
I know what
yeah.
you guys just said. You said, that's it? Yeah, I know, right? I don't know either. This fucker deserves life in prison.
That's so much
Angela-
more than I thought it would be. Usually animal crimes are like days in prison. So that's huge. Like that's big in that world. Typically like we watched the video not long ago. Well, a better example, the YouTube cat killer, the guy that murdered cats on video and used to just post them freely on YouTube. That guy only saw jail for like a day. I don't even know if he saw jail. I'm just assuming because I don't remember now. But like that shit does not carry hefty sentences usually. So at least that guy got a fat one. I still haven't seen Don't Fuck With Cats. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the YouTuber. I even made a video on him like a year or whatever ago. I forgot his name. Pollution, I think. Yeah, that's what Pollution. That kid, like, he wasn't in jail for any length of time at all. I always think that someone that's like murdering and decapitating and bathing in the blood of animals and whatever always deserves heftier penalties in prison because there's such a strong correlation with that behavior and becoming a real serial killer. So like someone like Pollution Entertainment, that guy should still be in jail for a long time. I don't know why they're so lenient on it. Luke Magnotta got his victim from Craigslist as well. Jesus Christ, really?
Diaz. Okay, so kinks. Everyone has them. At least I think everyone has
Tony,
kinks.
the
But
Prime
we're gonna be
Ray.
talking about an R-word kink. R-word, as in R-A-P-E. I think I might have censored that too.
He's a Prime
But
Peaches.
R-word, you guys should know. People that like to roleplay consensual non-consent with a safe word,
Here's some
obviously.
noob.
I'm not here to kink shame. To each their own. Yes, it
And
exists. I
gooey
just want to make
juice.
that clear before we get into the story. So men would go on Craigslist and ask around if any women wanted to volunteer. Some of these ads appeared on Craigslist in 2016 in Southern California. A woman identified as Angela Diaz responded. She sent them photos of herself and details about her daily routine, telling some men that she wanted them to engage in R-word play, even if she screamed or resisted. And so
Oof.
the men began showing up at her condo. On one occasion, she even called the police and said they attempted R-word.
Thanks,
The
Yusuf
officers
Joe.
came by and saw visible redness and bruises on her neck. She even had her shirt ripped. So you're probably wondering, wait, why did she call the cops if she wanted R-word play? Then she responded to the messages. Well, someone set her up. Yeah, someone else was pretending to be her and put pictures of her on Craigslist and said, hey, that's me, here's my address, you can do anything even if I scream or resist. Yeah, but wait, keep listening.
God
The story gets
damn.
crazier. She told the police that she had not in fact
That's like a
posted
Sam
messages
Pepper
on
prank.
Craigslist. She told them that they were actually posted by someone posing as her, which we later found out was her husband's ex-girlfriend, Michelle Hadley. Hadley of Ontario, California, was charged with multiple felonies, including stalking, criminal threats, and attempted forcible, facing a life sentence in prison if convicted. But months later, they found out that no, Hadley was innocent. She never set up Angela.
What?
So who set up Angela? You will never believe this. Angela set herself up on purpose and tried to make it seem like Hadley was a bad person. Yeah, she literally went on Craigslist
the
and promoted
fuck?
herself to be R-worded just so it could happen and then be like, oh man, I know who it was. It was this person. She was so deep into this that she literally got into her email, Hadley's email, and was sending herself threats. I don't know, bro. I don't know. So
Oh
Hadley's
my
innocent.
God.
Angela wanted to do that to herself just to get her in trouble. I thought we had seen the most when we talked about 4chan, right? But like, people on Craigslist are crazy, bro. Well, people on any website.
Thanks,
are crazy.
Teresa.
Angela Diaz
Jack?
ended up being arrested and faced felony charges, including kidnapping, false imprisonment by menace, fraud or deceit, perjury, grand theft, and forgery. Honestly, I'm gonna end this one off with don't do that. Don't go on Craigslist and actually don't go on Craigslist at all. What am I saying? Craigslist, my mom uses it. I think it's well, not for stuff like this, but she uses it for like this. I don't know.
To be
Craigslist
fair, I don't
is
use
cool, but, like, so
Craigslist
many people
either.
still use it.
It's not for
I'm
me.
talking too much. Let's get to the next one.
I've never found
Michigan
anything
teen
good off
fakes own
Craigslist.
Kidnapping. In 2014, Haley Turner, which was 18, pleaded guilty to felony charges of causing a false police report to be filed. She claimed she was abducted on August 7th, just north of Ohio, in Bedford Township, and held hostage for 16 hours. But the whole thing was a lie. Turner was reported
Great
missing
deal on
that
used
night
furniture.
after police say she called her friend to say she was
I've
going
never
to
used it
stop
for
and
furniture.
check on a man lying
I've
in
used
a
the same
ditch
furniture
after
for like
leaving a
10
family
years
video
now.
store. Seconds later, police said Turner told her friend, quote, he has a gun, and the phone was disconnected. The following day, a local resident spotted Turner standing at a corner in Escorts, near Detroit, holding a puppy. The Good Samaritan called 911 when the teen claimed she jumped from a moving vehicle
Thanks,
to
Yusuf
escape
Blasto.
her captor. Police, however, did not believe Turner's story. She later confessed that she concocted the kidnapping, telling a Monroe County judge that she posted a Craigslist notice stating that she was an 18-year-old girl, quote, looking to be kidnapped and taken away. It was not revealed in the court what her motives were, but other Craigslist posts indicated that she just wanted attention and that it could, quote, be fun. A police investigation revealed that a man did respond to the ad, but that man has not been identified. So she wasn't sent to prison since she was under 21. She just had to pay a fine of $15,000, and I think she did some probation service as well. I say this to my friends all the time, but like, no gender stuff, no gender, no arguments, all right? But like, cause we're dumb, bro. My friends and I, we're dumb. We're stupid. We be doing dumb stuff. And I always tell them, damn, girls are so smart. I love them. And then I hear stories like this. I'm like, what the fuck? What
She
are you
just
doing?
needs
Not saying all
therapy.
girls are dumb, obviously.
Yeah.
I love y'all. Love y'all girls. I'm just saying, like any other human, y'all can be dumb. Like any other gender, y'all can be dumb. Like any other person, y'all can be dumb.
God damn. That Angela story had so many fucking twists and turns. Jesus Christ. Nice.